Hey, I'm Doug. My name is Doug, and this is my podcast. Hey, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Hello.
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello.
When I say hello, when I say hello.
Hello.
Hello, 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 hello.
Howdy. Welcome to my podcast. My name is Doug. Have I mentioned that? Hello. Howdy. So what the hell is this? What are you listening to? Well, this is my little podcast. I figure maybe once a month, maybe we'll get the frequency up to every other week or possibly even every week someday. But basically, I'll sit down, I'll talk for a little bit here, and then I'll get somebody on the other mic and I'll have a conversation with them for maybe 40 minutes, an hour. Then maybe I'll talk a little bit more. And that's just what it is, just something talking to people. I mean, I know interesting people, right? I don't know very many people. I suppose the people I do know are interesting. It's kind of weird. I have a very small friend group. I got like 4, maybe 5 friends. Yeah, and I work from home. Oh, I had a life-changing thing yesterday. I bought a bathrobe. I've been thinking about a bathrobe for forever. I live alone, me and my dog, and it's comfortable to sleep in the nude, I find. But then I get up to smoke a cigarette in the middle of the night or whatever, and I'm cold or whatever. Bathrobe, and I got a little hook to hang it right by I've never owned a bathrobe before. I'm wearing it right now. Bathrobe, socks, and slippers. I'm rocking it. And I tell you what, comfort, baby. So comfortable. I got a hell of a deal, too. It's supposed to be like a $60 bathrobe. J.C. Penney had it for like, was it $11.99 or $14.99? One of them two. I got a dark blue one. They had a black one that was exactly the same, but it was $10 more. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not that partial to black. Whatever. So this is my podcast and coming up for a name with it. So like I kind of gestated on it for a while and like was trying to let it bubble up. And I'd had some test runs. JP came over one other time. There was an episode with my grandma. I think the one with my grandma might put on this. There's issues with the audio, but so this is actually the official episode 1. And going through the titles of the podcast, the first one I kind of came up with was Doug Gets to Talk to Somebody. And I don't remember if it was in the group chat or what, but I put that in there. And JP gave it a tweak. He said, finally, exclamation point, Doug gets to talk to somebody. And actually, I kind of like that. But it's even longer. Doug gets to talk to somebody is a little too wordy already, and then you get finally exclamation point. Doug gets to talk to somebody, and then on the whiteboard, the picture, not the picture, the picture. No, I take notes on it and stuff. And somebody on the radio had said one demon too many, and so I'd written that on the board, kind of like around where the podcast names were. Although it was not something I was kicking around as a podcast name. Thought maybe a good song lyric someday. But Josh incorporated that in. He said, how about Doug Talks to Demons? Doug Talks to Demons is pretty good. It's kind of catchy, but it really doesn't describe this. I don't think there'll be many demons coming around. All my demons will be internal. I might talk about them. I don't know that I'll talk to them. Yeah, and then the next one was Tell Doug All About It. I come up with that. I said, tell Doug all about it. It's kind of silly. I don't know. It's kind of on the right track. And then I came up with talk to Doug. Ooh, that's pretty nice and succinct. Talk to Doug. But at the same time, it's kind of lame. And then I came up with something totally a different direction. The Dougcast. The Dougcast, as opposed to the podcast. And I kind of like that, but I felt like I need a little something extra, a little mwah. So, how about the Dougcaster? I think that's what we're going with. Not there's a podcaster, and then there's the Dougcaster, which is what you're listening to right now. Oh boy, what do you think of that name? The Dougcaster. See, it's kind of cool, huh? The Dougcaster. Yeah, it's got a nice ring to it. I like it. Wow. So what you been up to? Me? Oh, nothing. Just working, hanging around, Drinking too much beer. Been rewatching Succession. Yeah. I held off for quite a while, like the first time watching it, just because I couldn't see myself watching a show about sort of like right wing people, like it's based on Rupert Murdoch, the guy that owns Fox News. But very interesting, like everything, every move they make is calculated and so political, and it's much more. I don't know. I'm getting more out of it the second time even, and the performances, like the acting, is just great. Like Siobhan Roy, Shiv. Oh man, she's a special kind of hot. Like she's got like the curves and everything. It's not like she's like this little skinny model. She's just so almost like modern day Marilyn Monroe. She's Sarah Snook is like got it going on in Succession, but her character like is not so attractive, but her physical appearance certainly is. Speaking of Sarah Snook, did you know that she's Australian? And she talks with like a big old Australian accent. I watch a lot of stupid cartoons like adult animation. Like when I'm going to bed, I'll have the TV on with the sleep timer and have something stupid on. And I had this one on called Koala Man. And I was like, well, that might be interesting. Oh, it's got Sarah Snook in it. And she's very Australian. And then I went back and listened to a Margaret Maron episode with her. And it's just so Australian. It's interesting. Like, picture somebody that like speaks with like some sort of heavy accent from another part of the world, and then they do their performance in English, like without the accent, like with an American accent, whatever that means, and it's really good. But like you try to picture the converse, like I don't know, like me trying to do a French accident, a French accident. Look out for those. No, if I was trying to do a French accent, I'd probably have to work really hard with the dialect coach, like even just English with the French accent. I don't know. That's probably a terrible example. Anyway, Succession is pretty dang good. You ever think about dividing by zero? Because like in math, you learn that you can't divide by zero. And my day job is software development, and if you're going to do division, you have to make sure that the number you're going to divide by isn't zero, because if it's zero, it just blows up your program and throws exceptions. But why can't you divide by zero? You ever think about that? So if you think about a division, so you got like a number over a number, like written like a fraction, like 1 divided by 1. So the top number is here's what I got, and the bottom number is I want you to split it in equal number of piles so that there's this number of piles. So if I have 1 and I'm going to sort it into piles of 1, I get 1 pile. If I have 1 and I'm going to sort it into piles of 10, well, then I got to break that 1 down into smaller pieces, so I end up with 0.1. And then if I take 1 divided by 1,000, I get 0.001. If I take 1 divided by 100,000, I get 0.0001. So the bigger the number that you divide by, the smaller the number you get back. The bigger the number you divide by, the closer the number is to zero, because it just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, the bigger the number that you're dividing by is. Now, what if you go the other way? Take 1 divided by 0.1, that's 10. If you take 1 divided by 0.001, that's 1,000. 1 divided by 0.00001 is 100,000. 1 divided by 0.0000001 is 100 million. So the smaller the number that you divide by, the bigger the number you get. So imagine you take 1 divided by 0.0000 and you say 0 for like 5 minutes, and then you say 1. And then if you actually did that, you'd end up with like a ridiculously huge number. And you can keep going and make the number as small and small and small as you can on the bottom, as close to 0 as possible. And the number on the top gets bigger and bigger. So what happens if you actually have 0? Well, then you get infinity. Infinity. Infinity is a weird thing. Like I've listened to things and it's interesting, and math is interesting, but like not all infinities are the same size, which doesn't really make any sense, right? Like if you have like it goes forever, there's no limit to how high it goes. How can you have 2 of those and have them like one be bigger than the other? So you can have the infinity of like all whole numbers or integers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just counting on for forever. And then you can have the whole infinity of like irrational numbers or fractional numbers, like, because then between 1 and 2 you have an infinite number of numbers. You can have 0.1, 0.01, 0.12, 0.3, like there's an infinite numbers, and it can keep going. You can have that decimal point going for miles, and those are two different sides of infinity, because in between each whole number you have an infinite number, so it's like an exponential infinity. I don't know. I'm just regurgitating this stuff, like, but the divide by zero thing, isn't that interesting? Like, you know, the closer you get to zero, the bigger the number. So if you get zero, then you get an infinite number, and our math just doesn't know how to handle that. Well, it's not that our math is more discovered than it is created. I don't know. We assign numbers and such. Anyway, I think that's enough about zero. Oh, so the Infinity Hotel. So there's this hypothetical hotel, and there's an infinite number of rooms, but they're all full. Every room is full. And I show up and I go, hey, can I get a room? And they go, oh, all our rooms are full, but Doug, you are such an important guest here at the Infinity Hotel. We're gonna accommodate you. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make every guest move to their room number plus 1. So the person in room number 1 goes to room number 2, 3 goes to 4, 4 goes to 5, so on and such, and all the way out to infinity. And then I can just move into room number 1, no problem. Isn't that fun? Hey, okay, if we're talking about weird stuff, let's think about the concept of how big numbers are. Why am I talking about dividing by zero? Like, this is not the normal kind of thing I'll do for the podcast, but this is what I find interesting right at this moment. So numbers, we lose grasp of how big numbers can be too. Like, okay, if you counted like 1 1,000, 2 1,000, actually that wouldn't work because you get to 100 1,000 and then it takes longer in a second to say it probably. But 1,000,000 seconds is 11 days. And the difference between 1,000,000 and 1 billion seconds is 31 and a half years. And then if you go from 1 billion to 1 trillion seconds is 31,688 years. Isn't that something? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Yeah. And going at the fastest any of our spaceships have ever gone, I did the calculation for this once. Like, our nearest star is something like 3 light years away. If we were to leave today to get to that star, if we traveled the whole time at the fastest any of our spacecraft has gone, I forget the exact number, but I did the math once, and it was like 70,000 years. So if you want to get to the closest star that's 3 miles away, it's going to take about 70,000 years at our current speeds. And there's trillions of stars in our galaxy, and our galaxy, it's 100 light years, or no, excuse me, 100,000 light years from one side to the other. It's just unimaginable sizes. And then our galaxy is just a speck in a bucket of galaxies, trillions of galaxies. So pretty crazy stuff, huh? All right, well, I don't know that any of that makes sense. What do you want to do with that information?
Taking it back.
To the store.
I'm taking the shit back.
No, it's good shit, I'm telling you. It's the deal. All right, so JP's hanging out with me today. Should we get to that conversation? So like I said, this was about eight days ago. This was right before the Super Bowl, the day before the Super Bowl, and he came by and we talked some guitar. And I thought, as a little intro to that, I dug up an old copy of Kenny Appletree and Don't Fall Far from the Tree demo. So how about just a little excerpt of Lonely Town?
Ain't nobody gonna visit me in this lonely town. Nobody gonna visit me in this lonely town. Nobody gonna visit my saggy balls in my middle of my room and let them out if I can get them through the hall. I like to soak them in a bowl of water, then wrap them in baby powder, then I'll toss them around like some pizza dough. Oh, this lonely town sucks, so I told you so. full of water.
Okay.
Bumblebee.
Bumblebee, bumblebee, bumblebee. That was the Jeremy's thing. He always said that.
It's a fale ma ve tu la bula bay.
Is that how it goes?
No. There was one exercise when I think I took music in 7th grade, or not music, but choir or something.
Yeah.
And that was a warm up. Fa re la bay tu la something bay.
The only music I took was some guitar lessons when I was like in elementary school or middle school. And then the music classes that they made us go to in elementary school. And I hated that teacher. She's,
You didn't get the Esteban videos?
what?
I showed him how to play guitar, how to play Spaniard guitar. And he had all his nails were pointed off at the end like a vampire's, but he picked that way. Yeah, Esteban.
Esteban.
Yeah.
Like not a famous guy who's just a teacher.
Well, he's famous.
Yeah.
I mean, from that, well,
From online?
He put out one of them videos, you know, but then he was, I guess, big in wherever he's from, probably, but...
Esteban.
Yeah. You should look him up. If you need a Joe Rogan guy that just looks up shit when we're talking about it. Yeah, pull that up.
Yeah, David Cross. I don't know if it's a real person or something, but he's always hollering off like I forget Carly or something.
Yeah.
Hey Carly, look up this.
Right. My assistant that makes $20 an hour and wipes my ass.
And looks up things on the internet and wipes
Right.
my ass. That's your job description. So just know your order and the level of
Right.
things.
Make sure my fucking latte has a double scoop in it.
Yeah, make sure it's frothy.
I'm
If it ain't frothy, you're wearing it, Carly. So I just learned today that the Super Bowl's tomorrow because I'm not a sports guy and I'm kind of an idiot.
The super farce.
The super farce. So what kind of bets? You got some bets? You got some money on this game?
Yeah,
how's that work?
I've done a lot of bonus bets, which are free bets on Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I get my mortgage paid, maybe, hopefully.
No shit.
But it's an accumulation of the day after the Super Bowl last year is when I placed my first bet. So it's been like a year of like $5 bets on the winner of the Super Bowl. Like a bunch of like $75 winners. And I did pick the Chiefs and the 49ers at the beginning because they were the favorites anyway. So.
Oh, that's cool.
And they both suck, so I don't give a shit. But.
And you're a diehard Dolphins fan. You've been a Dolphins fan since you were like young, right?
Yes.
Like as long as you can remember, or was there a certain time you came to them?
No, I started liking them when the Bears were undefeated in 1985, and me and my dad watched the Monday Night Football game. Dan Marino was the quarterback, and they beat him. Their only loss that year. The Bears still won the Super Bowl, but that's when I started liking the Dolphins because my dad rooted for him. And I was like, that was cool. So, yeah, it's stuck ever since then. And then ever since then, my dad's rooted against them. So the one time he rooted against or for him.
The one time was when
That's when I started liking him.
And then he's like, well, if this fucker likes him, I'm gonna root against him.
So then they were good in the 90s, and Buffalo Bills were really good.
Uh-huh.
So Buffalo Bills were his team during those 4 years.
Oh.
And then he's like, during the holidays just recently, they're on, I think it was Christmas night, and he's just running his goddamn mouth like, they're going to fucking screw it up, you know. Dolphin, me and Keenan are sitting there like, oh,
yeah,
win. And he's just finding ways to poke at me still about shit. I don't.
Floyd hasn't changed much, huh?
No. Except his political views.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's not a Fox News kind of guy anymore.
No.
He's more liberal.
Oh, he's definitely he loves Joe Biden. Oh. So that shows you how good he changed, you know.
That's good, man. I'd picture him. I would have guessed he'd been a Trumper or something, you know, just from what I've known about him in the past.
That's what I would assume too, because he was a George W. fan, you know. So that's the last time I remember. But you know, he's into politics only because he doesn't get his ass off the couch and he just watches the shit constantly.
Something to occupy the mind. So, in the like, so like in a team your whole life. So like there's this thought experiment. It's like imagine you have a big wooden ship, right? And it's like whatever it's named. And over the years, repairs are made to the wood, like where a piece of wood's replaced here, a piece of wood's replaced there. And over the course of, say, 10, 15 years, every single piece of wood on the boat gets replaced. So there's not a single piece of the original boat in the boat that's there now. Is it the same boat?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so like with the sports team, too.
It's just the fucking emblem.
Really?
You get, I guess, because, I mean, 20 years later, there's not a single fucking person that's on the team that was, or part. I mean, you might have a same owner.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like maybe
But the owner's usually just a white privileged fucking billionaire that just has this for a write-off or to make money on. He doesn't give a shit about football,
Just wants to make the money, yeah. That makes sense.
It's just something to confuse us, take our minds off the bullshit that's really going on, throw a bunch of fucking, it's like Gladiator, It's the modern day Gladiator, throw a bunch of fucking slaves out there and beat the shit out of each other.
with no care for their well-being, just looking for a spectacle.
Yeah, it's the old, what is it, Chris Rock said, there's rich and there's wealthy.
Oh.
Well, your football players are rich, but they're run by the wealthy, they do what.
The people who, like, they have the kind of money that, like, the rich person's money is, they're like, my money makes that much money in a year.
Right.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, so the name of the podcast, last time I talked to you, where I was kind of landing was Talk to Doug. Simple, concise, but not very exciting. And then I was kind of thinking, what about the Dougcast? Like podcast, but Dougcast instead of podcast. And like, that's not bad, but it needs like something extra. Like, it's just not quite enough. And then I was like, what about like podcast, the Dougcaster? I kind of landed on the Dougcaster. What do you think? Does that suck? Is it all right?
I like Dougcast. I think I like better.
You like the Dougcast better?
Yeah, I
do.
do.
The Dougcast? All right. That's cool. I can rework my image. Check it out. So this is the
It don't matter.
Well, I'm open to like opinions because, Okay, so I was
the Dougcaster. Hey man, it's your that could be like your DJ name, the Dougcaster.
The Dougcaster.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it kind of works, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I might go with that. So, for an image for it, I was freshly showered and my hair was all dry. So here I am with like my long hair outside.
Holy shit!
Right? I didn't even know it was that long until I took the picture. Shit.
You look like fucking Bo and Jeremy, the Fabulous Thunderbirds. They were a wrestling team. Michael something. You look just like you gotta. What the fuck from the
So I took several pictures in a row. So there's this one. This one's not good to use for it. There, it was kind of cool picture. And then the wind kicked up, and I got that. And I was like, "Hey, I kind of like that." And then
looks like an '80s album.
And then I put a little flare on it. Ran it through the settings, like adjusted stuff. And then I took a screenshot of that and adjusted the settings again.
Oh, nice.
Ended up with that. And
what if you put a microphone in there?
That wouldn't be a bad
idea. On the
idea.
outside of like they're trying to block your words or something.
Yeah.
Like edit.
That might not be a bad idea. And then I took and cropped it a little better and put like a little thing on it. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Maybe a microphone in there would work.
Yeah, what if you had just like this? Like coming in from the top or something? I don't know.
Maybe. I'll work at it. Well, if you're listening to this, you'll probably be seeing the image anyway. Cool. So you brought your guitar today. And for those who don't know, JP here plays guitar.
Yeah, I was a little brain dead today, so I figured I can...
you could do some strumming instead
at
of
least
thinking?
fuck up a few chords instead.
Yeah, fuck up some chords. Okay.
See?
So things I actually don't know. Like
that's a shit sharp major.
A shit sharp major? Mm-hmm. Well, play a shit sharp minor. Oh, okay.
It's like when you get the little droopy doos, little poop grapes.
You don't want those.
Stomp them down the drain.
Okay, so we talked about music class or whatever you were in choir. Like, what was your first, like, messing with music? Like, how did you end up with a guitar in your hands ever?
Well, I got a guitar for my birthday when I was 9.
You just got a guitar for your birthday when you're 9? Your dad played
A
guitar.
white Ibanez, yeah.
And your dad played guitar.
My whole dad's side of the family were musicians, but he was just kind of fucking around with it, you know. But he got me a guitar. My grandma got me a guitar, actually. And I didn't learn how to play it.
Yeah?
And I had an amp with it, too, so it was that white Ibanez. I still have it.
Oh, a little electric.
So I'd have it in my mom's garage and jam up there. I knew, I think he taught me the solo from
Oh, that's a classic.
You remember that one?
No, I don't.
Shit, neither do I. No, it was like a shitty, oh, you're reeling in the years.
Oh.
I don't know if it's that song, but it was a shitty one, but he
Something
taught me
like
the
that.
solo of that, so that's all I really knew how to play. And then I think he took my guitar back because I never seen it for years. And I went in and out of Hawk or at the pawn shop, and I got an acoustic, and I ended up learning how to play because I bought a Bon Jovi sheet music, and it showed how to play chords. So I learned, I guess this time you're really leaving, because it's an E minor and a G.
John Bon Gravy.
And then a D. That's all it is. So I was like, oh. And I almost had it sounding like it did on the radio. I was like, hey, I might be able to do it.
Yeah.
So then I learned some Garth Brooks shit, which is just D, A, and G and shit like that. And once I put a song together, it gave me the motivation to do it, you know.
And what, like, what?
Because a lot of people just fucking quit after they get it. Like, I gave one to my son, Layla, you know, they...
How old were you around the time when, like, it started coming together for you like that?
Like, fucking 15.
Like 15?
Yeah, I was in the first price pit in my mom's basement.
Oh, it's your mom in your mom's basement?
Yeah, she got me an Ibanez, acoustic Ibanez like this. And actually that was in the fire, but it was on the roof.
Was that the blue one?
No, that's an Ibanez, but it was just a regular old acoustic look. But it was $200 at Russo's Music, I think.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned those on, and just played some, make up my own songs. You know, my first funny song was Hemorrhoids.
Hemorrhoids.
You remember that one?
No.
Hemorrhoids. And I
Oh, that's how it goes. Okay.
no, I did it off the beat to Rape Me from Nirvana.
Oh, okay.
So it was this is the first time I played it.
That's all right. Yeah.
Hemorrhoids aren't my friend. They're really burning up my ass. Really burning up my ass. Can't sit down to eat. Can't lay down to beat. Can't sit down and take a shit. Wish the burning would quit. Hemorrhoids. That's all I remember from it. I know there's another verse, but
None too shabby. Yeah. A little parody back in the day. Hemorrhoids. Oh, shit.
That's the easiest way to do shit. I just came up with one from that shitty AC/DC song, Stiff Upper Lip.
Yeah.
Stiff Upper Lip. And I put jism between the tits, you know. It's I put the hot jism dip right between the tits. That's the way she ordered it. That's where I come from.
Holy moly.
Between the tits.
Classic.
Right.
Classic.
It's easy.
It's classic. Oh. Did you ever play with other people, or were you playing by yourself mainly until a certain
I made
point?
my own solo album
Yeah?
with Hemorrhoids and Osco Woman was one.
Osco with that. Oh yeah, you worked at Osco way back in the
Yeah.
day. Way back in the day.
And
What'd you record that on?
it was a cassette tape that had the record button and it had a little microphone in it.
Oh,
It still
yeah.
sounded decent.
Yeah.
It was on my little Toshiba record player, 2
Yeah.
cassettes, and FM stereo.
Nice.
And that's how we recorded, like, we put together our Dirk albums and Mr. Gray and all that shit.
Okay, talk about
But-
Dirk. How did Dirk come to be? DIRK.
Well, the band started as Dirk, then it went to Mr. Gray, then it was Pogo's Dead.
And who was in
So
this?
Dirk was me and Matt and Jeremy
Matt and Jeremy, brothers.
and maybe Kelly Wood.
Kelly Wood. Kelly Wood was it? What did he do?
He bought a bass at the pawn shop, never tuned it, and he just went.
Okay, Kelly Wood's on bass.
Remember Roadhouse?
Who was
He's like,
vocal?
that's the.
Oh, look, guys, I know Roadhouse. Good job, Kelly.
So yeah, we came up with a couple songs. Yeah,
What did Jeremy and Matt do? Was
just
Matt vocals?
made up vocals like
Oh, you had two.
"Shut Up, Slut" was one. "Jism on My Walls." Caesar.
Caesar.
Yeah. Remember, Jeremy hated that kid that dated his girl that he didn't know or he knew. So they made a song and then they came to the concert. Yeah. At the basement.
Dirk, Mr. Gray, and then Pogo's Dead. Did the lineup change through the names? And by lineup, like, did you
Well,
guys
definitely.
play? Did you guys ever play any gigs?
Jeremy, well, when Keith McGrath ended up being a drummer, and Neil McGrath played bass. So yeah, his brother played the bass for a little bit. We did. I don't think Neil was there, but it was me, Keith, and Jeremy did a little show for Brian Dillahay's birthday. I think his name was Dillahay. Excuse me.
Classic.
And I ended up showing up late because I was with Jeff Meller and his fucking black Firebird up to no good.
Yeah, Jeff was never up to good.
He's like, I'll get you there as soon as possible. And we show up, but yeah, we were supposed to go on before the Bruise Brothers, Lucas Hennings and Chris, I think, Chris Scott.
Is this pre Noise Wave? Right?
Well, this was their side project. I think they were still Noise Wave Noise Wave didn't have Lucas in it yet. I don't believe it was Zach, Chris,
was it even a thing? You
bass
know,
player,
was it still
and
Rugrats or
Squid
something?
Man. Yeah, it was a 3. But so there were 3, and then Lucas and Chris, I think, were a different thing at that time. So we were supposed to play before them, but I came late, so Bruise Brothers had to play first, so they're kind of mad at us anyway. And I didn't even show up with an amp, so I had to plug into Squidward's amp. And Squidward's amp is like a fucking all effects and shit, so I don't know my shit's not sounding the same as it usually does. I usually had crunch and lead,
Yeah.
you know, that's it. And he had this wow, 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 wow. I'm like, but we played a couple songs like Feels Like I'm Swimming, I think. was a good song we did. And Cronium, which was on...
Cronium.
Yeah, it was a hard rocking one. It was a Caius. It sounded a lot like Caius shit. Definitely not good, but it sounded like Caius.
Well, that's a good thing to emulate.
But
And then that stuff didn't last too long. Was that what for that show? Was that probably the Pogo's Dead iteration?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were Pogo's Dead then, because we were only Mr. Gray for a minute.
Explain the name Pogo's Dead.
That's John Wayne Gacy's clown name.
Pogo was his clown name?
Yeah, and he got executed in 94, I think.
Oh, it was right around the time of that, so he died, so Pogo's Dead.
It's a couple years later, yeah, but... And I had a shirt that said Pogo's Dead. I was like, hey, that's a good name.
I already got
the shirt, man. Good thing we weren't called Abercrombie or Old Navy or something.
Ladies and gentlemen, Old Navy! This is our song called Gap. It's available
Victoria's Secret. Yes.
And then what happened after that? Was there quite a while before the next band came along?
Well, then I ended up working at Menards. I didn't make a... No, I didn't do solo shit till after that. I worked at Menards with a dude named Josh Bellows, and I lucked out because they asked him to be in this band, The Styles.
Yeah.
Which was John Schwartzen and Sean Schroeder. And I think he was scared to get in the band, so he kind of said, well, yeah, but you need a rhythm guitar player too, so I know this guy, and we both worked at the same time. So we both showed up at the same time. And I think, me and Josh kind of clicked. We could jam together, you know. He could just put a beat together. And
he was the drummer, and
right.
You were a rhythm guitar.
Right.
And then...
So we were practicing it, the first practice, I remember at Josh Horse's, and Josh taught me how to play Rebel Yell.
And Schwartz was bass, right?
Yeah. But Josh had a really good ear for music, and he taught me the chords to Rebel Yell, like that shit.
Yeah, okay.
And so we jammed that song, because it's only a few chords, and I kind of knew the lyrics already.
Yeah, it's a fun one to play.
And the lead singer, Sean, was walking up the stairs, and he was going like this with his fucking, and he had that face like, yeah. So I knew that right then. I was like, all right, we're a band then.
All right.
So they made me learn. I learned 40 songs.
Damn.
In like 3 weeks, because we played his brother's bachelor party.
Yeah.
At the Sherwood Club Court.
And I don't even remember his name. What's the guy's name that did the guitar and singing?
Sean Schroeder.
Sean Schroeder.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys called him Dad sometimes?
Yeah, because he was 28 at the time.
Ah, and you guys were like 22.
And I was the second oldest. I was 22.
Oh.
Shorsh was 20. And Josh was like 18 or 19. We still had to sneak Josh beers for a lot of our gigs. We'd get a pitcher and then put it behind his drum set.
Huh. That's crazy, like being in your early 20s or not even quite, and it's somebody that's 29, you're like, fucking dad over here. That's a crazy perspective shift. Like here we are at our mid late 40s.
Well, now I just seen him post a picture the other day. He's in his he'd be 55 then.
Oh man.
Or not? No, he's in his 50s. He's his
early 50s.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But you guys played a lot of shows as the Styles. I probably went on. Would they gone on like 5 years?
No, it was about 2 or 3, I think.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
But you guys,
long enough.
But you guys did.
I really
a lot of
never
gigs, like
enjoyed it because.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, I mean, it was fun playing the shows, but I dreaded going to practice and trying to learn Blink-182 songs and fucking. We were known for making a cover of a cover. It's like, fuck, there's a punk rock cover of Rocket Man, so let's do the fucking cover of the punk rock cover of the fucking cover.
Yeah, there was weird stuff. Like, didn't you guys do Britney Spears, like, Hit Me Baby One More Time?
Well, that one was mine
that was your
because I
idea?
heard the acoustic version Weezer did.
Oh.
So I started that.
Yeah.
And then we were like, put it in distortion after that.
Okay.
So that was kind of original in a way.
Yeah,
because that wasn't exactly the way. Because Weezer just did it like.
Okay.
Forget how it goes.
Yeah. And you guys turned it into sort of like a sort of pop punk kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I just did that, and then once that first verse, I went.
What are other songs you used to play all the time? What are the ones that you didn't like playing? Let's start there, and then go into
all the small things.
Yeah, I like Blink-182 all right. I actually like their first album, the one with the bowl on it. For some reason, that held a special place for me. But after that, they were just like kind of okay. I never bought any of their CDs.
It's the same shit.
But people just loved them. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
it just
2 minutes
was
of
my thing.
Happy.
Yeah.
And shitty vocals and. Yeah, they're just one octave is all they are. It's like,
Whatever. It seems like there was. I didn't mean whatever. I meant. I don't know what I meant. But what other ones? There were other like things that you guys did covers of in sort of like a pop punk kind of way.
We did Rocket Man. We did 99.
Red Balloons.
Red Balloons.
Huh.
Wild World.
Ooh, baby.
Ooh, baby, it's Wild World.
Oh.
Yeah, punk rock fast versions of that, too.
That's odd.
There were so many. We did, What's My Name Again? I remember doing that.
Yeah. Were the songs that you guys generally played, was it sort of a quote unquote dad? Because that was his nickname, so we'll just call him Dad. Was it kind of like he like kind of dictated like the songs you'd play, or was it more of like a group effort where you were the minority that was like, I don't want to.
Right, when it come to like, because three of them loved fucking the punk rock. Like, they were big on Social Distortion, fucking the fast punk rock shit, you know. And I was the one here trying to say, hey, let's put some Deftones in this shit.
Oh.
You got a high voice. I can't hit the Deftones. You probably could do it, you know, but I don't.
Yeah.
But I think it was perfect for me because it would be hard for me to pull off a fucking 2-hour show, straight vocals.
Right.
You know, because the songs that I sing were the ones that, like, after I do Rebel Yell, it fucking shreds my voice because you're screaming. And I did what was it? Just What I Needed, I think's one of them.
It's just what I need.
Yeah, Weezer. I did the Weezer songs.
Huh.
It was pretty much if I brought in a song, said I learned this and I could sing it and do it.
Yeah.
And they'd just pick right up and do it with me, you know.
Okay.
And then we'd have to do the same thing for them, though.
Okay. And when you brought in the song, did you generally end up singing it in gigs, or did it depend on the song?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was like, it was my song, we're doing it. And he never really gave a fuss, but he would really hate when he'd hear that. I'd rather hear you singing than him, you know?
Oh.
Because that happened a couple times, and I was like,
people would come up and be like, "Hey, I'd rather hear him singing than the lead singer."
Like,
they're talking about you. They're like, "Hey, I like this Josh guy singing. Like, why doesn't he be the singer?"
Yeah, this guy, like, it's the same because his voice was like people don't like Rush just because of it's up there, you know.
Yeah, I get that.
But that's why there's like great bands like fucking like Supertramp and shit. They had two low vocals. They have your high guy and then your low guy for different songs. Fleetwood Mac had several different vocalists. You don't just pin it on one person, right? And
right.
Josh could sing too. Shorsh could not, but he wanted to fucking.
He wanted to, though.
He wanted every chance to fucking run his mouth on the microphone.
Like,
And he loved when there was parts in songs where it was just like you're chanting or like just somebody screaming like, "Hey, ho, let's go," type shit. Because he was the stage guy, you know. He was the prop.
did you guys all live together in a house for a while? Like that house where you guys would practice in the
No, that
basement?
was Bo, and
lived there.
and then me and Moby came in, and not the superstar Moby, but
There was somebody we used to hang out with that's known as Moby, and we'll leave it at that.
yeah, he got divorced or whatever, and we moved in there. We just ended up putting the band room downstairs in the pit, another pit, but this pit had, who knows. I remember we found like syringes and shit. It looked like Al Capone's like lost vault down there, you know.
Whoa. Like where in that little basement area where you guys would practice?
Yeah. There was a couple times. You remember the parties we had down there?
Oh yeah, I remember one time there was some fake tits laying around. I put some fake tits in. I don't know why.
There was always this pair of tights hanging from the drum set too. That's another story. Some of the skags you would bring home from that shit. Them gigs, you know. It's 2 a.m. You're packing up, and there's a fucking Walking Dead zombie waiting there right by your vehicle.
Hey,
you take me home? I don't know.
buy me Taco Bell first.
I'm gonna regret that.
Yeah,
That's a lyric.
That's
a lyric in a Kenny Appletree song.
Kenny Appletree. Oh,
Taco Bell. Number 5, combo number 5.
combo number 5.
She has combo number 5. Which song is it?
I don't want to spoil it, but I think at some point Kenny Appletree will be joining me on the podcast. And we're gonna play it straight probably at that time, but just a wink, wink. That's actually this guy here. So we get to that too. We're just gonna talk about it all candidly. So how did the band? How did you exit the band? How'd that come?
Well, the band actually.
Like the band. The band didn't.
I didn't hear from them for 2 weeks.
Oh.
And I knew something was up.
And you were already kind of unhappy, right, at the time? You were just kind of tired.
I kind of felt a vibe anyway.
Yeah.
And the last show I remember playing, and we played this fucking Machine Head song by Bush, and I could never get the fucking timing down, and I always fucked up the lyrics because their lyrics. I have trouble with mindless lyrics that don't have any substance to it, and it's just like there's 4 verses of breathe in, breathe out, don't hear this, don't deserve this. It's all like melts together for me.
Yeah,
because I can't like this first verse 1, 2, 3, 4.
I get what you mean. Like there are other songs like Mickey Mouse grow up a cow, of days on sale again. It's like what the fuck's this shit?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm supposed to remember 4 verses of this.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
So I just remember like I had a kind of a bad like night of playing a little bit, you know.
Oh,
well, I know that song specifically, Machine Head. I fucked it up.
Yeah.
I remember looking at Shores and he's like, I don't know. But there was this other guy in the crowd that was a guitar player too. So I didn't hear from him after this 2 weeks. Well, turns out he was taking over. Because he could play Machine Head really good. He can go, breathe in, breathe out, at the same time.
Oh, fancy.
But, yeah, it was like a couple weeks, and I remember Josh called me, and I was like, I'm not even in a fucking band, am I? And he's like, well, Shores, why don't you come over? So I just drove over there to get my equipment, basically.
Yeah.
And Shores didn't really say much to me.
They weren't even like, hey, you know, like, sorry, whatever. They're just kind of like, It was time, though. It was time for you to exit.
And it made me write a song.
Yeah?
Well, the past seems so far away. That one.
Oh.
That's Friends.
That's a good song. I haven't heard or thought about that one
Punk
for a while.
rock crowd, two-faced crowd, punk rock sound.
Yeah.
That shit.
Okay.
So that's when
That's about the time you started working on
That's
like
when I came up with Jay Peterman Project and Mullet Top Cocktails.
And you were living like on Broadway above
Yeah.
2020 Vision.
Yeah.
That was about that time.
Yeah.
I remember that. Those songs you were writing at that time, those were good fucking songs. Like they could use maybe a little polish and recorded really good, but like they were quality songs. Like I really dug them.
Well, that's when I fucking... Well, because I had all that influence with them fuckers without a lot of input, you know?
Yeah.
Like when we'd write originals, it was all them, like... Originals were all about you, my way. Remember these fucking songs? And it was just quick... And it was... Basically, we're mimicking Blink-182 shit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, what about this song? And so October was a song that me and Josh came up with, and it had more of a, not like Korn or something, but a deeper fucking harder rock sound. And people really liked that shit, but I think I had just shit built up in my head after all that shit. And it was easier to write songs, definitely. And that was a great experience. I mean, it was like a fucking job.
Yeah.
Because you got to fucking 2 nights a week, you got to practice, and then you got to fucking load up your shit, get all nervous, play 45 minutes, make sure you don't fuck up shit.
Yeah.
Be the one guy that fucks up stuff. Huh. And I prided myself on a lot of the time. Like, I made it through that whole gig without maybe missing a chord or two, but nothing like standoutish. I remember a lot of times fucking... I mean, it's hard for the drummer to fucking complete a whole set without doing a couple beats. He'd fuck up every now and then, but he'd get drunk too.
Yeah.
And we'd all get drunk. But that's probably why we don't remember fucking up after like midnight because we sounded so good in our heads. But
all right. This is probably about the time that I started jamming with you a little bit on our weird little shit.
Oh, yeah.
So a little background. Oh.
Down syndrome.
That's Keenan.
I forgot about Down syndrome.
No, down capacity.
Fucking with you.
It could have been called Down syndrome.
Hold on, this is my son. This could be good.
Yeah, what up? Put on speaker.
Hey, Dad.
What's up, dude?
Not much right now. I was gonna ask, when do you think you'll come home? Cause.
All right. Sounded like he was having a rough time. I'll probably edit that out. I don't want to give Keenan a hard time on the mic.
He deserves it sometimes.
He deserves it. Okay, so backing up, I dabbled in music a little bit. So I got a guitar when I was in middle school, and I took some lessons. I learned how to play Wipeout.
Oh yeah.
And that was about the extent of it. I really didn't learn chords much from that guy. I'd go to this this old hippie's basement once a week, and I'd sit down. He'd be like, "You been practicing?" I was like, "Well, a little bit." He's like, "Well, you're kind of wasting both of our time if you're not practicing." Like, he was a nice guy. He's
well,
cool
that's true. You only get 45 minutes with him, and then you gotta expect the rest at home.
Yeah, I mean, like I wanted to learn to play, but I didn't want to put in the work. And then years later, I got a guitar and learned some chords, like an acoustic, and would screw around making up lyrics. But so I can play guitar, like I can play like 4 or 5 chords, but that's about it. If I said I could play 5 or 6, I'd be lying. but anyway, like you and me, in the group back in the day, we used to end up doing a lot of karaoke at various bars.
Oh yeah.
And I remember loving karaoke, and there were times like that. Remember that Brett guy that would run it?
Oh yeah.
And he'd put like one of us would get up there, and he'd put like effects on it, like echo or whatever. So I'd be up there doing like a Jim Morrison or Pink Floyd or something, and woo! Yeah. Like my karaoke performance even got me laid once. Like some chick was like, "Hey."
Oh, you're
like,
so
hey.
That Rich says that every fucking weekend.
It did actually happen once. But
you need a piss bucket.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a break.
All right.
There's too many wires. They're scrambling the wires.
Oh, yeah.
What
So
am I
it's gonna
going to do?
I can adjust them individually.
Oh,
like
cool.
I can turn mine up and yours down. Like after the fact, I can do that. Anyway, we're back. So anyway, I was saying I was listening to Insane Clown Posse, which looking back, like I don't have any idea how I could possibly do that because that's not.
We all had like at least 2 or 3 fucking bands that we'd look at each other and go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Yours was Insane Clown Posse, and you had Kid Rock.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ, Kid Rock.
I remember
Fuck.
Kid Rock.
I fucking hate Kid Rock. Like, I can't even, like, okay, so I did kind of like the first album or something, but Jesus Christ, like, I wouldn't. Okay, that's his. Yeah. Anyway. So anyway, I was like, okay, Insane Clown Posse. If these two guys could do it, I can do it. So I had my CD
That's
collection.
definitely the bar to set right there.
Yeah. I was like, well, I can do it.
Those motherfuckers have a following still. I can't believe it.
So I took
So
my
I keep driving. Keep driving.
my CD collection. I had like a setup where I could feed audio back in through this board thing and record on a tape or directly on CD. I bought like a recordable CD player, so I could like go back in and basically I'd take my CD collection and find instrumental parts and splice them together and then put vocals on top of that. And I made like a concept album under the name Third Six and called myself Darg Dillinger.
Oh yeah.
and it was a concept album. So like
and you took a bunch of photos with you with a gun and shotgun.
Yeah,
and stuff.
And like I had banana peels hanging on.
I didn't remember that part.
It's you can't even tell it's a banana. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking.
Hey, banana peel's probably the best thing about that whole fucking thing. It's probably that is funny.
But here, check out the concept of the album. So the concept was like I have this superpower where there's like this some sort of eye that I can look into, and I see the bad things that people do.
Now I get it.
Like people that do evil things, I see what they do, and then I go hunt them down and kill them to make them pay for the horrible things they've done.
Wow,
it's just ridiculous, and like I'm super embarrassed by it now. Actually, like I still got copies.
I thought you would bring it back.
Oh, Jesus! Like I'm so embarrassed by it. And anyway, so there was
That's good stuff.
and then that ended, and then Double Bar 7, there was karaoke out there.
Oh yeah.
And Dustin and Dale. Dustin was younger than me. Dale was older than me. But they like have had bands in the past, and Scott played the bass. And Dustin said something to me one time. He's like, "Hey, I've seen you in here doing karaoke. Like, we've got a little band. You want to come over and like meet with us and maybe like audition to sing?" And I was like, fuck yes, this is the thing I've been waiting for my whole goddamn life. And that was kind of cool. Like they're really talented musicians, but they had like a certain style, and like it would always rocked out really hard. And I was just kind of like, but I don't know. We played one gig. We played one gig.
No, you played more than that.
No, we played the one gig.
At the Mile, that's it?
Yep, that's it. There was some hippie band that opened, and then we came up, and I didn't have any control of my voice, so I'd be quiet, I'd be loud, and I'd be at the same place from the mic. And I was getting mad at the sound guy. I was like, "Why aren't you turning me up?" And he's like, "Well, it sounds pretty good out here, man." Like, it was terrible. It just didn't go
I just remember you painted your arms black.
Yeah, I think I painted my whole chest black, didn't I?
You went black, not face, but body.
Yeah.
Black body.
I don't know.
Good thing we didn't take pictures of that shit.
I don't think that's a thing.
He went black body. So did Dustin, though, didn't he? He did it with you.
Did he?
He painted himself, too.
Did he? I don't remember. Like
I was like, all right, at least he got Dustin to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just painted my arms black.
Yeah.
Well, I was probably... Was I shirtless for that because I had a big belly?
We are down... I was going to say syndrome again.
Down capacity.
Down capacity, because they changed it again, and it was hard to...
Yeah.
But you were like, we got 12 songs, 10 original songs, and 2 cover songs, and that's how you opened it up. We don't need to know the set list, Doug.
And then we did end up doing the cover song because it was supposed to be like a joke. It was going to be the safety dance, and I was going to be up there and like start doing "You Can Dance If You Want,"
right.
and I'd turn around and be like, "Why aren't you guys playing?" They'd just all be like shaking their heads, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But the gig didn't go well, and I didn't feel like doing the joke. But so they
never went too well up there.
Yeah,
it was hard to get people up there.
Yeah, and there was one other time, like there was a bunch of people out there. You know, it was a bar, in the Mile Away and everything. Mm-hmm. Like there was a whole bunch of people out there, and they lived next door, and we were sitting down there and ended up doing like an acoustic thing. That was probably the best thing that we did. And then they went on and then like, I don't know. I don't even remember how that ended.
They got a guy that looked and almost sounded exactly like you.
Yeah. And they ended up being Jackboot Suicide.
Yes.
Jackboot Suicide.
It's like, what's a worse name than Down syndrome?
Anyway, so that was my experience into music, is that kind of stuff. And then that ended. And then that was right around the time you lived above 20/20 Vision on Broadway. And you were writing your songs.
I think I I think you gave me that CD player,
I think so.
and that's where we started making our own shit.
Yeah, it was a CD player you could record on, so we'd have two
Yeah.
mics going, and you'd play the guitar, and I'd kind of like help you mic
Yeah,
the
and we
guitar.
had a
then mic-
4-track.
Yeah, the
had a
4-track came
4-track.
later. The 4-track came later. For a while, we just had that, and we just record live. So like we'd
Right.
have the two mics going, and you do your songs. I'd help you record them, and then I'd be like, "Okay, we recorded one of yours. Now we got to do one with me." So then I'd make you, and then you just strum guitar. I'd make shit up, and we just record that. Some good stuff came out of that, like the Lumberjack song and
yeah.
stuff.
80s rocker.
Yeah, and then you'd do some of your Kenny Appletrees, and I was even featured on one playing harmonica. is that
Corbin wants to be Curtis Cherrywood.
Curtis Cherrywood?
Yeah. Because he's got long hair and a beard, too.
So what's he going to do? Is he going to join you and do vocals on some of your songs? He doesn't play any instruments, does he?
He's got a guitar. He could play a D and a G, you know.
Okay. He's like me. He knows a couple chords.
Right. So,
Curtis Cherrywood. That's a pretty good name.
Yeah.
Go along with Kenny
Kenny
Appletree.
Appletree.
Okay, so it's around that time you came up with Kenny Appletree. Talk about Kenny Appletree for a minute. Where'd the name come from? Or did it just sound good?
Well, this is like in 2003, I believe, around that time.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And every country artist was Kenny. You know, Kenny Chesney,
Yep.
Kenny fucking Chestnut.
Who's the guy that just... No, that's Toby Keith. He's not a Kenny.
Yeah, but there's a ton of Kennys.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a mockery, like, I'm going to be Kenny. And then something stupid, just what's ridiculous. Appletree. Yeah. Not Apple. Everybody's like, Applewood. They mistake. No, it's Appletree. It's a fucking apple tree. That's how stupid it is.
What gave you the idea, like, I'm going to do some country songs?
Because I hated hearing fucking it. That was a time of my life when I'm listening to fucking, rage music, Rage
Yeah.
Against the Machine, Deftones.
Right.
Shit where that's the way you express yourself. And you turn it to fucking the country station by accident and you hear it at my work when I was working at Menards. It was on
All the time.
and I'm just sitting here watching planes fly by. And that's an actual fucking lyric to a song.
Oh, wow.
So it just upset me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wanted to make a mockery of it. Just fucking do some songs like that. Act serious.
Yeah.
Like it's something I love. But, put real lyrics in there.
And you started...
Not like... And I just never got it off the ground enough to where it would hit, but
Yeah.
it still it's not over with yet.
Yeah. And everything you recorded for that Kenny Appletree, it was just on the two mic live thing.
I didn't have backups.
Yep, that was pre 4-track.
We still haven't,
Yeah.
because those tracks could be tons better with a harmonica or a violin or a fiddle in the background vocal.
I think my favorite Kenny Appletree song was Lonely Town. The one where you talk about playing with your balls because you're lonely.
I do love that lyric.
Powder. Or what? How'd it go? I dip them in baby oil and then...
Here, let me see. I like to soak them in a bowl of water.
Yeah.
Then wrap them in baby powder. Then I'll toss them around like some pizza dough.
Yes.
Well, this lonely town sucks. Don't you know?
Oh, it's not Don't You Know, it's I Told You So.
Well, I think I changed it.
Oh, did you change it later?
Well, one verse is Don't You Know? I told you so.
Yeah.
Told you so would probably be the second verse, right?
I liked that. That was my favorite.
Because I already told you once. I told you so.
Jesus Christ, that cracked me up. In my pick-em-up truck. And then you lived in who was that guy with the... You lived in that little, like, he had an extra little house on his property, like, one of those addresses that are and a half.
Rod?
Yeah, Rod.
Rod Crowe.
Yeah, and then
like Russell Crowe, like the white trash version of Russell Crowe.
Yeah. And it was around that time, I think I bought the 4-track. Oh, no, I think after we were doing that, I was with the guys that were in the band. We like started a little side project thing that wasn't a band, but like we'd record stuff, and then I'd record vocal,
Right.
and we got a 4-track to do that. And I feel like I might have been the one that bought the 4-track, and then I ended up bringing it over, and then you and I started messing
Right.
around and doing some stuff on the 4-track, and the 4-track kind of opened it up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, we put that music maker thing I had on my PlayStation, had some beats and shit on it, and
Yeah.
we had I think a Casio, so we put some sound effects and shit on some shit.
That's what the second Mullet Top album was. The first one was just the 2 live mics, most of it making stuff up on the fly. Some of it we'd pre-written, but a lot of it was on the fly.
Oh yeah,
And then, and then we did another one, and then we recorded some of your songs. I wish I still had copies of like your songs, like that on that flash drive I just gave you with the J. Peterman. Those are like around the 4-track time. Like there's one where, what'd you say, where you got the beats on like a PlayStation thing, and then
that one's cool because they had some really like cool shit on there.
Yeah, and then you edited in like stuff from movies, like
Right.
like the thing, like Wilford Brimley, like you got a normal set of lungs.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was.
See, I thought I could make a fucking whole album doing that shit because I actually got another idea
You really could today, especially.
because I was going to use bits of parts of movies like where they break down. Like remember Philip Seymour Hoffman in Boogie Nights where he tries to tell Dirk he loves him or whatever, and he's like, and he goes in his car and he's like, I'm so stupid. So I was gonna make collages of breakdowns like that, and put it throughout a thing, because I thought of a few other things like, because there's always a really good part in a movie or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I kind of wish I still. So there's that, and I don't have copies of it. Like I think it was on a CD at some point, but there was some of your songs, like "Stuck to the Floor," the one you mentioned earlier, "Friends," and like a few others that were, and "The Ugly," and God, I don't even remember. But like those songs, like those are good. Like I wish you could like remember those and like relearn them. And then, like, we could record them
I know.
solid.
Well, there's a
those
couple
are quality.
of,
those
like
are
the
those
ugly,
are Spotify work.
The Ugly. I wanted to fucking, if I can keep that Devil's Rejects shit, or the House of Thousand Corpses shit in there the way it was queued up, because it's so hard to get that lined up the way it did, because it came in perfect for some reason. It's just so fucking hard to do that again, and because I think I've tried it again, so I don't. But I wanted to add fucking drums and shit to that song, too, I think that song deserves drums, and I think I Want to Know needs drums. But, like Sundown or something like that, maybe that just needs, like, a soft violins or organs background,
You might be able to get away with doing that on a synthesizer, even the violins.
Right.
Well,
But I think all them songs could use a clip from a movie, too, It's like,
yeah. Then you just end up with, like, if you're going to release it to, like, a platform, like, put it out there for everybody where it's not just on YouTube where you don't have to worry about. If you put it up on YouTube, it'll be like, well, there's a copyright infringement, so even if this does blow up, you're not going to get paid for it. They're going to get paid for it.
yeah.
But like, for, like, Spotify or something, like, I don't even know if you'd be able to upload it with that stuff. They probably
really?
or if they discovered it, they'd probably take it down, but I'm sure they run scams
Shit,
on it.
it'd be cool if they discovered it.
No, I mean, like, if they discovered that it's copyrighted.
I know, but that's just saying that maybe you might get 3,000 likes.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's about the range of the guitar, and then that brings us. So present day, like you've got your garage all pimped out. Like, tell us about your garage. Tell us about like the state of affairs as current in your garage, like your setup as far as speakers and platforms and instruments.
What's ready for live shows?
Yeah.
We just got to put in the work to get there.
Yeah. You've got like a little stage set up.
Yeah.
And
I got stage, I got fucking blue screens, whatever the fuck you want. We could be in Hawaii. It don't matter.
Like green screens?
Well, I got the white screen.
Oh.
Well, we can project anything.
Ah, Gotcha.
An audience. We can actually have an audience.
You can project an audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you got like a stage with a drum kit, and you got various guitars, you got various amps, and then you've got like the actual sound system that things plug into, and you got massive speakers throughout the garage. Like,
Yes, well, I figure it's safer to jam at home than go anywhere else.
yeah,
And I don't have the energy and time to go play somewhere either.
yeah,
And I'm not wanting to impress anybody.
right.
If we're doing something good, we can record it and put it on the web or something. Put a live stream up.
We just got to figure out a good way to record your stuff, because something like, I don't know, like say, just for example, like the Ugly that you wanted to put drums to, like we got to figure out how to record like the layers of it, because like, would you be able to record the drums like by themselves with no other sounds other than maybe like a metronome?
No, I can do it on the electric drum set. We could record it that way.
Yeah.
And we could probably get a sample drum beat too to layer over it as the original, because I've tried that and I just couldn't get the timing down.
And while you're recording the drums and getting that set up, like you can have like in your head where it is in the song and like get it down. And then so if you get the good drum track, then you can be listening to that and record a guitar track. And then maybe a second guitar track, and then a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then a good vocal track, some backing vocal tracks, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the more layers is usually the better.
Yeah.
And even if you're just doing something really subtle, it does add a lot to it.
It does, yeah.
It fills it, you know.
Yeah.
It's better than just a mic and a guitar.
We need to do that. We need to get Josh doing some stuff, get him up on Spotify. What do you think? You got a favorite?
The Dougcaster.
The Dougcaster. The Dougcast or the Dougcaster? I still like the Dougcaster. It seems to be like more of a thing. You gonna favor us with the song here?
I was just making a Dougcaster intro.
Oh, okay.
The Dougcaster.
Welcome to it.
The pre-Super Bowl show.
Yeah.
Do we have any requests today?
Shoot, I don't know. What do you know good enough to play off the top of your head? Do you remember one of those classics like Sundown?
About 25% of every song I ever knew.
Yeah.
That's about what it is. Drum beat.
We put the dogs outside. We tried having the dog. Josh brought his dog over too, and my dog, and they were just like in here with us and just and right on the mics, and you could hear it. And so we ended up putting them up outside. They're ready to come in.
They're playing the tambourine.
Yeah, they're playing the tambourine on the door.
I'm just a little loose.
Loose is good, right?
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, Keith Richards.
When you grab a hold of me. I don't know the lyrics though.
And then never be set free. I'm paranoid. Something I don't remember either.
So I've been doing a lot of that shit where they got the song on karaoke.
Yeah?
And I could sing and play along with it, turn my fucking guitar up.
Yeah.
And I still got the background shit and to cover my ass too if I miss a chord. But you could still hear it too. So yeah, I just learned that one. That one's pretty good. I miss my my Martin.
Yeah.
Because that fucker played nice. I just switched strings on this, but I still gotta try a lot harder. I gotta push them in. Because this is only like a $400 guitar. It's not like it's... If I got a Taylor, I couldn't afford a Taylor. I bought the Taylor hat. Taylor's like $2,000. But they play like butter. I mean, you're down here and barely hitting it. See? But I gotta go like press. And that's where your tendonitis comes in.
Yeah. The harder you gotta press, the more it hurts your fingers.
What's an old Kenny Appletree?
Boobies? Remember boobies? That'd be
I do, but I was like, little boobies. It's the breakdown I always fucking have trouble with. But
What about sitting, shit, and spitting? You remember that one?
yeah, and I think I'm gonna do a companion piece to that.
Oh, yeah?
The fuck's it called? That's called the dogs on the front porch.
They're tearing each other up. Looks like you lunch.
They miss our love.
That lonely dog is out there on the porch.
Out there on the porch.
On the porch.
Lonely dog out on the porch.
Howling loud. Ooh.
Playing those drums.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Dogs on the Porch. The new song from Mullet Top Cocktail.
Dogs on the porch.
Dogs on the porch.
What about a cover? Like play a cover. Take it. Like just play a song to take us out. Play us a cover or something. Some Jackson Brown or whatever it is that you're into lately. What's a cover you play? There's a million of them.
Stuck to the floor. Some miles the night before. Feel no pain. I better sit up. I'm a little relaxed.
You want the
Sorry.
stool? You want the stool? Want the stool help?
Stool? I don't have loose stools.
No.
Just yet.
A stool to sit on for those at home. All right, the Kenny Appletree version of "Hey You," as popularized by Pink Floyd.
Hey, you out there on your own, always doing what you told. Can you help me? Hey, you out there in the aisles with all those broken smiles. Can you feel me? Hey, you don't help me. Care for your life. I told you, don't look in my eye. My left eye. Hey, you gotta sympathize. Forgot how to read. To you and I. Drums come in at the end.
JP Styles is Kenny Appletree. All right.
Thank you. I rehearsed.
We can call it good on "Hey You" if you can't come up with anything you want to do.
Charles in charge.
Do you know that? Do that. Do you got a version of that?
New boy in the neighborhood. I was working on it. It's like a new boy in the neighborhood. Touch those kids like we knew he would.
That's an odd line.
He's a cheap. Well,
It's from an 80s sitcom.
no, that's not that's the line I did.
Oh.
You thought that was in the line?
I
Of the
don't know.
sitcom. He touched those kids like we knew he would.
I was like, well, that didn't age well.
No, that's what I'm saying. It didn't. Well, we're hiring Charles to look after our kids. He's 25-year-old, decent-looking dude. He's got ulterior motives. You know what I mean? Who the fuck? I mean, when you hire like a teenage girl, I mean,
Well, one of the kids is a teenage girl. Like,
yeah, it's like, what do you need this for? And the other kid's like 12.
yeah.
He can make his own mac and cheese. What they needed Charles in charge for? Oh, to dangle the berries.
Oh.
Charles is dangling the berries all
do
day
that,
long, all day long. Charles dangles Nicole Eggert's little cherry all day long. Charles is in charge of Nicole Eggert's cherry. When she's 14 years old, Hollywood looked the other way, but now they're serious. I don't think it's that way anymore. It's the same. They're still diddling children all day. They're just hiding in a different way. You know it's Charles ain't in charge of shit. Charles diddled that kid. You know Charles did. Charles did diddle them kids all day long.
What else you got?
Different strokes.
There you go.
You know, Mr. Drummond used to fondle those little black
Jesus
boys
Christ.
all
Jesus
day
Christ.
long. That's a goddamn truth. All right, I got another one.
Is it non-molesty?
No, they're all molested.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The fuck? This is the 80s sitcoms we're talking about.
Okay.
Who's the boss?
Oh, no.
Tony's the boss. Who's the boss? Tony, put 2 fingers in your pussy. There you go. That's all I got. I just made that one up, as you can tell.
It's a classic.
It's probably the best one out of the 3.
Oh, Angela, hey.
Hey, I got 2 fingers for your pussy. Hey.
One in the ass. I call
The
it
other
the bowling
3 aren't
ball.
worth it, I tell you.
I call it the bowling ball.
And the other 3's aren't going anywhere near that ass. I've cleaned out that toilet. I know what comes out of that ass. Shit splatters extravaganzas.
What did you eat, Angela? I didn't cook you that.
Fuck no, I cook a healthy meal here. I think you're stopping off somewhere else. On the way home, you don't like my meals?
Hey.
Angela's stopping off at the fucking local Mexican restaurant right down the block. I saw it.
This is the work of enchiladas.
There's no way the lettuce that I serve, I can serve organic lettuce that comes right off the toilet bowl. This shit's stuck on there. I had to get my fucking razor knife, scrape it along, and I chipped the porcelain.
All right, we got to find a way to keep that.
Who's the boss? I'll tell you.
All right.
Hey, who's the boss? I'll tell you who's the fucking boss
Oh, my God.
around here.
All right. Cool. Thanks for coming by. Hey, yeah. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for coming by and hanging out. You know, later on, after a couple hours, I ended up going over there and hanging out with him and Keenan that same night. And I got Josh to set all his shit up, and he performed as Kenny Appletree. And so I have as your privilege live recording of that just through a small microphone on my phone. But all the same, a little bit of live Kenny Appletree, the classic Horny No More. Like if you really want to dissect it, like this song is kind of brilliant. Like the chorus is so simple yet so powerful. And the lyrics you can even just say them like poetry. I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna leave you. 'Cause you don't make me horny no more. Isn't that swell, ladies and gentlemen?
Wide hips, stretch mark tits, crusty dry cock, sucker lips, nappy hair, nasty hair, poop stains on those 3-day-old underwear.
Oh my!
I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna leave you. You don't make me horny no more. Double chin used to be thin. Now you eat fudge right out of the tin.
Oh no.
Oh!
You lost sight of your feet. You appall me. Seen your work pantyhose really ain't no tree.
Oh my!
Now I'm gonna leave you. Now I'm gonna leave you. 'Cause you don't make me horny no more. Now I'm gonna leave you. After you all you want, fat hole. You smell like Jesse Gleason's corpse, and you don't make me horny no more.
Come on, Kenny! Give it to him, Kenny.
Kenny ain't horny no more.
Nice.